the I Love Seville group. Did you get that event created, J-Dubs?
Check it again. I just put it live. It should be live.
On the group?
Yeah.
Without the event created, though?
Yeah, I think I figured out a way to do it without the events.
I am not seeing it on there. I am seeing it connected to YouTube. Thank you. I do want to get it up on the group, if you can confirm that, please, sir. And do you have it connected, J-Dubs, on Twitter?
Let's see.
I'm not seeing it on Twitter there, J-Dubs.
It looks like it's still working on it.
All right, let's get the group up, and then let me know when Twitter's connected, please. Can you get the group up, please? Thank you. And then we always want to create the event first instead of, LinkedIn is good, which is good. All right, once Judah gets the group up on I Love Seville, we're going to start today's program. Take a look at the screen for today's headlines. We anticipated more public schools would be leaving the VSBA, and Rockingham County, their school board, is choosing to do just that. We know the Orange County School Board left the VSBA, and now Rockingham County is joining Orange, and I would imagine that there's going to be more conservative-leaning public schools choosing to leave the Virginia School Board Association. The Virginia School Board Association provides some infrastructure, some legal counsel, and some other expertise, which we'll break down on today's show. Orange County, its school board, and now the Rockingham County School Board has said the Virginia School Board Association is entirely too liberal for it to stay a member of. So I want to pick this apart. I would think that Louisa and Madison counties are considering doing this. This is just a crystal ball anticipation or opinion. Time will tell. Let us know when we're live on Twitter, J-Dubs. Tony Bennett, we will talk about the negotiation of his contract extension on today's program. We will also talk on today's show about what could be the dumbest armed robbery ever at the Bank of America on Long Street. We also have Scrimp Shack for sale in the Rio Hill Shopping Center. There's a pop-up market in Richmond that I see a lot of opportunity for here in Charlottesville. And let me ask you this question. Why is there only one food truck park? I see Twitter now live, Judah. That's good. Thank you very much. The one on High Street seems to be the only one in town. Now, you do have some food trucks that park around grounds at the University of Virginia when college is in session, but there really is not a designated food truck park or epicenter besides the one on High Street. I want to ask why, and I want to contemplate or deliberate what other locations could be a good fit for a park. Let us know when the group is up, J-Dubs, and we will get the party started. We're in your hands.
Creating the event now.
I can't hear you.
Creating the event now.
You got your mic in front of you and the mic on?
I do, and it is.
Okay. I just want to make sure the viewers and listeners can hear you. So I'm sitting within 5 feet of you and having a hard time of hearing you. He's getting the group up, and we're going live.
What? Do you want me to go live now?
I think we should probably, if it's going to take much longer, we should probably go live. We're at the 6-minute marker here.
Quiet on the set.
Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love Seville show. It's great to be with you on a glorious and gorgeous afternoon in downtown Charlottesville, about 30 feet, call it 30 yards from the Charlottesville Police Department, a block away from the downtown mall and the courthouses of Charlottesville and Albemarle County. It's smack dab in the heart of a community we call Central Virginia. It looks like you need to reconnect my Facebook page on my personal Judah. Judah's got some technical issues that he's currently navigating. I thought we had these resolved. Take a look at my page if you could, because that's not currently connected. And viewers and listeners, we're going to talk topics that matter to you, including Phil Delaney's Afton Motel and its potential for a makeover. We'll talk about that on today's program. We'll talk Richmond, Virginia pop-up market that has a lot of opportunity and upside, not just in RVA, in the capital of the Commonwealth, but I think something like this could work extremely well in Charlottesville. A pop-up market that allows vendors temporary access to sell their products, their inventory, their goods, whatever it may be. We'll talk about that on today's program. Also on the show, I want to talk about the Bank of America ATM Longstreet robbery. Was this the dumbest robbery ever? We'll talk about that on today's show. We will talk Tony Bennett negotiating a contract extension on the program as well. We'll weave Judah Wickhauer into the mix here. Judah, are the streams connected? They seem to be choppy and frozen here. I thought you've navigated and adjusted this.
They told us that they had fixed the problem.
You're director and producer. We're live here. Are we on a two-shot with you here?
No.
Okay. Are they? Is it still? It still seems a little choppy here.
It does look kind of choppy.
Viewers and listeners, what are you? Let us know what you're seeing from a chop standpoint. If you're seeing a little sound and chop, let us know here. Do you want to set the stage for the Rockingham County School Board, the second public school board to leave the VSBA, or do you want me to set the stage on that one?
I think I can set the stage on that.
Okay.
So obviously we reported previously about the Orange County School Board deciding to leave the VSBA. Now there is another school board, the Rockingham County School Board, that is also deciding to leave and join a more conservative school board. I mean, a more conservative school board association.
The Rockingham County School Board follows Orange's suit, and you got to ask if others will follow as well. If you can, confirm the quality of the stream, because that's your number one role here at the network. Madison County, I would think, is close to doing the same. I would think Louisa County would be considering a similar path here of potentially leaving the VSBA. Orange, in a surprise vote, made it happen. Now Rockingham, in a vote of 3-1, claims the VSBA, which is the Virginia School Board Association, has become entirely too liberal to stay within it. The concern you have is this: if a number of conservative public school systems or conservative-leaning public school systems choose to leave the VSBA, what are you left with the Virginia School Board Association? Are you going to have two completely splintered or divergent school board associations? One that is conservative-leaning, one that is liberal-leaning? That's a question we should discuss on today's program here. I think that you will see the school boards, the public school boards that are in kind of outer county geographical territories contemplating a push. You look at Central Virginia, and your conservative-leaning public school systems in Central Virginia are the outer county ones. You got Orange, you got Madison, you got Louisa, you got Greene, you got Fluvanna. If you take Central Virginia just as a microcosm of what could happen, could we see the public school systems in Central Virginia take two paths? One path the conservative school systems leaving the VSBA, while the Albemarle County and Charlottesville public school systems choosing to stay within the VSBA? That's a question I want to deliberate and discuss on today's program. That's a question that I think you guys should follow closely, not only as taxpayers, but as parents of kids in schools in Central Virginia. What else are you following with this storyline here, J-Dubs?
No, not all of the teachers or people involved have been happy with the change. I know some of them feel that by leaving, they take their voice and their votes from the current VSBA, and that's, I think, a good argument. What happens when when you feel an organization is too far in one direction, and you decide to take your school or business or whatever it is somewhere else, that may end up leaving less voices to counter what the things that you don't like, and I think that's a real concern.
I think that's well said. If you could get the lower third on screen. Well said. What's your pick for the next one to go?
The next school board? That would be tough for me. I'd have to find out a little more about who the...
For the sake of a talk show, Judah.
Let's see. I would say schools in Nelson County are probably prime. Nelson County runs more red. That would be my guess. Somewhere in there.
I think Nelson's a good guess. Imagine a Central Virginia community, roughly 300,000 people strong, where Albemarle County Public Schools and Charlottesville Public Schools choose to stay in the left-leaning VSBA. And imagine a situation where Nelson, Orange, Fluvanna, Louisa, and Greene choose to leave the VSBA. That would leave parents and teachers and admins in an interesting pickle. Would parents choose to move to certain counties for their kids to attend certain public school? It already happens. Crozet and Western Albemarle schools have attracted so many affluent parents. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why Western Albemarle High School is nicknamed Stab West. Okay, it's the Meriwether, I guess it's Ivy now, the Ivy Henley Western Track in Central Virginia. From a performance standpoint, you would say, from a strictly performance standpoint, Ivy Elementary to Henley to Western is the top track for a public school, elementary, middle, high school matriculation. That performance, that academic pursuit of excellence has led real estate values to increase and escalate mightily in the Ivy Henley Western Track, the Murray Henley Western Track. You could start throwing Crozet Brownsville in there as well. You've seen the emergence of Crozet and the emergence of Crozet real estate values because of the schools. I think you should follow this. Will we see a migration shift, a migration pattern shift with homeowners, with potential homeowners, with soon-to-be homeowners, with folks that have money that are trading up real estate or moving to the area, choosing school systems based on ideology? One is anomaly. Two starts to become a trend. You throw a third in there, like a Madison, a Louisa, or as Judah said, a Nelson, maybe a Fluvanna, then it's something to watch.
Yeah.
And your outliers, right now your outliers in Orange and a Rockingham could become the trendsetters.
No doubt.
And if they become the trendsetters, how does that impact tax bases and real estate values? How does that impact what schools, teachers, admins, and support staff choose to work within? What school systems they choose to work within? Will they transfer to different school systems to work for an employer that better fits their ideology? This is something that happens all the time. One of the reasons my parents chose to move to where they did in North Carolina was they felt comfortable in this location. Small town feel, charm, politics, economics, local business support, restaurants, walking. People do this all the time, ladies and gentlemen. What else you want to add to this, J-Dubs? Kevin Yancey, we'll get to your comment on matter of minutes.
I wonder how much this will change the outlying areas. I mean, Charlottesville needs to expand, but it doesn't have any room to expand to. Will some of these outlying counties and towns and cities expand so that they're closer to actually being like a Charlottesville?
Or will we see this shift, or will we see, and Kevin, I'll get to your comment. Kevin says politics has zero place in any public school system, be it red or blue. In an ideal world, Kevin Yancey's 100% right.
Yeah. But
In an ideal world, he's right. But the case is, the fact is that's not the case now. Public schools determine the governor's race. With McAuliffe and Youngkin, we've covered that many times on this program. McAuliffe 3 times put his foot in his mouth when it came to parental influence or parental involvement with their children in public schools. He said parents should not be involved. They're not first when it comes to their children when their kids are in public schools. Okay? That cost McAuliffe the election. Will we see population shifts? Will we see employment shifts? Will we see real estate values shift? How would this impact the private schools? Enrollment with private schools?
yeah.
If Albemarle and the city of Charlottesville choose to stay in the VSBA, let's cut to the chase, they will. Does that get parents who are more conservative in ideology considering other private school options? This is a topic that I think has a lot of, I think we're in the first or second inning of this topic.
Oh, definitely. I think more school boards will start to consider following suit, and the VSBA might start having some money issues.
Or the VSBA should consider a different position, a
Yeah.
position of neutrality.
It might. Do you really think they would make that change, though?
Risking losing membership versus positioning its ideology in a neutral setting?
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about politics and business. Many small business owners would say there's no point of having politics in business because everybody who has money to spend, all dollars are green.
Yeah.
They're not red or blue. Money is green.
Yeah.
Ginny Who says this: I'm willing to bet you a bottle of Brown that the schools who leave the VSBA will be producing a higher level of educational value. Wow. Ginny Who's photo on screen, one of the key members of our family, iloveseville.com/viewer rankings. Do you unpack that one right there? She's willing to bet us a bottle of Brown juice that the schools who leave the VSBA will be producing a higher level of educational value. You buy that?
I think it's a compelling argument. I can't find. I don't think I would dispute it. I think we'll have to wait for the evidence.
Sake of a talk show, J-Dubs. You're doing that thing.
What?
For the sake of a talk show here, what do you think what she is saying will materialize, yes or no?
I think it's a good guess for how things will go. Yeah.
So you say yes.
Sure.
Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
I'm going to take the flip on that. I'm going to say no.
All right.
And why I'm going to say no on this, and I respect Ginny Who tremendously on this program. Why I'm going to say no on this is I would imagine that teachers, principals, admins, and support staff will choose to perform their best regardless of the political leaning nature of the school system. A teacher, support staff, principal, aide who gets into this profession, they're not getting into this profession for money.
Yep.
They're getting into this profession to perform the best they can to influence the next generation of learners.
All right, counterpoint. How much are the teachers and what they teach, and also the administrators, how much are they, I don't want to say handicapped, but how much of how they do things is influenced by the school board? And we've seen some of the antics in some of the local school boards with going through asking people to decide whether or not to change the name of a school, and then going ahead without following that input.
Fresh news now sent to us live on the I Love Seville show. The Madison County School Board is choosing to stay with the VSBA. School board members voted to renew its membership with the VSBA, a $5,800 charge. Madison County is doubling down and staying with the VSBA. One of the reasons I thought, maybe Judah thought, that Madison County was going to choose to leave the VSBA was Madison County's recent move to change the winter break to Christmas break, and the fact that the county does lean red. But we now have official notification that Madison County School Board is going to re-up its $5,800 membership with the Virginia School Board Association. That's interesting right there. Yeah. So that took my prediction completely off the chalkboard. Orange County, the lone one right now, Rockingham County, the lone one in Central Virginia, Rockingham County outside Central Virginia. What's the next Central Virginia school to leave the VSBA? With Madison off the plate, are we looking at Louisa or Judah's pick Nelson or Fluvanna? Will we see Madison's neighbor Greene do it? At one time, there was a battle of the Tasty Freeze. You know what the battle of the Gordonsville Tasty Freeze was?
No.
The Battle of the Gordonsville Tasty Freeze was the winner of the Orange County, Madison County football matchup.
Okay.
They took home the Battle of the Gordonsville Tasty Freeze trophy. We will see what happens in Central Virginia with the VSBA storyline. I don't think this is the last we're hearing of it, with now two in the Commonwealth choosing to leave. Next headline, my friend, Judah Wickower, please.
Next headline, Phil Delaney's Afton Mountain Motel could be getting a makeover.
We got a text message that's come into the program from The Fixer.
The Fixer.
I think that's a fair moniker for you, who has sent this text message to me. The Fixer. I see him from time to time walking in front of the studio. This guy's an extremely connected individual. He said, Jerry, this year Charlottesville High School placed 4 kids into the Ivy Leagues, 2 into Princeton, 1 into Brown, and 1 into Columbia. By that metric, Charlottesville High School is the top academic high school, public or private, for high-level college placement.
Well.
The Fixer has a son at Charlottesville High School. I'm not doxing you, The Fixer. Many parents have sons at Charlottesville High School. He knows this school system inside and out. I think we can agree, The Fixer, that there are 2 tracks at Charlottesville High School. There's the advanced placement honors course track. Maybe there's 3 tracks. There's the advanced placement honors course track at CHS. There's the track of students that are not in AP and honors classes. And then there's the track that has held Charlottesville back for the better part of this year, that have led to principal changes, school resource officer conversations, metal detector conversations, and significant attrition within the school system.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the Fixer sending us that text message. So if you're just tuning into the program, we'll get to Phil Delaney's Afton Motel makeover. but I want to offer a little bit more color on this topic. Rockingham County School Board has left the VSBA. Orange County was the first. We said when Orange County left the Virginia School Board Association that others would follow suit. Rockingham has now followed suit. I anticipated Madison County would be the next one that would follow suit. I'm getting confirmation now via direct message that Madison County has doubled down in support of the VSBA and will not leave the VSBA. In fact, it's going to re-up its $5,800 annual membership within the VSBA. So that's some fresh news for you there. I'm curious to see what Louisa does. Doug Straley, the superintendent of Louisa County Public Schools.
Yeah.
A man of reason and a friend of this program. And I'm also curious to see what happens with Fluvanna. I'm also curious to see what happens with Nelson. We'll go to LinkedIn as comments are coming in. I appreciate the comment right there from the Fixer. And J-Dubs, if you want to jump in on anything we're talking about, let us know, because I'm very curious of your take on this stuff as well. From LinkedIn, we get John Blair's photo on screen, please. He says this: here's an idea that sort of connects an idea you and Judah have talked about in the past to the Afton Mountain story. Why not a gondola ride into Waynesboro, which is right there at the mountain? So here's the gondola. John Blair, thank you for that comment. Here's the Phil Delaney storyline. This is in the Daily Progress today. Augusta County is in pursuit of a $100,000 grant to fund a plan for the blighted 15-acre site atop Afton Mountain at the crossroads of 250 and Interstate 64. The property, as you know, is owned or was owned by the late Phil Delaney. Mr. Delaney has numerous holdings in Charlottesville and Albemarle County and beyond. One of his holdings that gets significant attention is on Ivy Road, just past the Boar's Head, where the old, was it Virginia Oil was there? Danny's Upholstery was there? A crumbling gasoline service station strip that has fantastic traffic that passes its by and fantastic frontage to an affluent demographic. The Afton Mountain site, owned by Skyline Swannanoa, Inc. This company also owns the 471 surrounding acres. However, those 471 acres are not what Augusta County is trying to rehabilitate. They're trying to rehabilitate the 15 acres atop Afton Mountain, which was a motel and a restaurant. Here's a piece of information that I found fascinating. Phil Delaney's family is on board and working in conjunction with Augusta County to rehabilitate this project. Another interesting tidbit from this storyline: Augusta County is looking for $100,000. They're competing for this money with other localities. The $1 million pot of money that Virginia localities are competing for, the progress reports, demonstrates the competitive nature. So there's $1 million up for grabs.
Yeah.
That all these localities are going after.
And if it's all broken up into $100,000 lots or whatever.
Is that the case? Is it $100,000? I don't think that was in the story.
It wasn't, but it's 100,000 seems an oddly even number for that not to be broken up that way.
Okay, that's fair.
I will admit that it is an assumption on my part.
I'll say this: the $100,000 that Augusta County is searching for, fighting for with other localities to rehabilitate the Phil Delaney Motel and Restaurant, that is peanuts.
Yeah.
That is absolutely going to do. Maybe it's a start for rehabilitation.
It's definitely a start.
We're doing a remodeling project now in the house we're moving to. We're doing sanding of floors, painting the house, redoing a screen porch, restaining the deck, painting some cabinets. We're doing, I wouldn't even call it a massive remodeling project.
Yeah. And
you're talking about a good chunk of $100,000 right there. $100,000 for a motel and restaurant that have been an afterthought for years, if not decades. What is that going to do? Get the grass cut? Is that going to get the front door painted, the grass cut, and the bushes shaped? What's the best use of this property anyway? Is the best use of this property to redo it as a restaurant and motel? Have you seen this property? You know where it's located, right?
Yeah, it's basically the top of the mountain, right?
It's yeah. You're going to, if you're trying to get on 81 and you're going that way, you see this and you're like, this has the most ridiculous view of maybe any property in Central Virginia not named Wendell Wood's house. By the way, it looks like Mr. Wendell Wood and his family, maybe it's his family, are now living in his house next to Carter's Mountain. That project has been underway for almost as long as I've been here. And it looks like people are living in there now.
As they say, the light's on.
Who says that? Is that Howard Johnson?
Yeah, we'll leave the lights on for you.
Is that them?
Hojo's?
You will leave the lights on for you? That's not Hojo's, is it?
No.
Who is it? Motel 6.
Yeah. Hojo's had the best
You're going to go to the restaurant at Howard Johnson's?
New England clam chowder when I was a kid.
Oh, my goodness. I knew you were going to go to that. You're a huge fan of the chowder. Is the best use in that property a motel and restaurant again?
I don't know about a motel. I think a restaurant could certainly be a hit. I mean, it would be a great place to stop. You're at the top of the mountain. You've got a great view. You're not too far from Waynesboro, but you're probably a good, 25 minutes from Charlottesville.
Yeah, but that's close.
If you're traveling 64, I mean, why not, stop there in the middle of the day or whatever and get some lunch and watch the view?
This from the Daily Progress. According to Zach Beard, a senior planner with the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission, who also works with the planning organization, one of the conclusions of a study done for this motel and restaurant, Phil Delaney's Motel and Restaurant, is the area could accommodate the equivalent of 2,500 more car trips per day. The study says a 14-pump gas station and convenience store could also generate additional car trips. The transportation impact of the development on the site has already been investigated, the Progress reports. Stanton, Augusta, Waynesboro Metropolitan Planning Organization recently completed this traffic study. I would love the gondola idea. I've been I know you scoff at this. It's fair for you to scoff at this.
No, in this case, it's not a bad idea. My problem is thinking that you can build a gondola hub that's going to go in 5 different directions and basically connect all of Charlottesville by gondola, which I think is kind of crazy.
No, I know it's crazy, and you're fair to scoff at me.
But in this case, where you already essentially have one way down the mountain, either left or right. You're going to head towards Waynesboro and Stanton, or you're going to head towards Charlottesville and Richmond. So I think a gondola in this case could work. I mean, if you wanted to take a gondola from Waynesboro up to the top of the mountain, it would save some traffic. And didn't that article also say that after the 2,500 extra cars, that would be pretty much capacity?
Yeah, they said after
don't want more, if we get 2,500
a day
and one,
yeah,
it's going to be too many.
They said if the motel and restaurant are rehabilitated and reopened, and the article also says that if a gas station, was it a 14-pump station? A 14-pump gas station and convenience store was situated near or on the site. So you got a motel, a restaurant, and a 14-pump gas station and convenience store. It would generate 2,500 more car trips a day. But then the article says, and it quotes Zach Beard, the senior planner with the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission. He says, once the 2,500 number is exceeded, the safety and congestion becomes an issue, and traffic starts to pile up, and traffic concerns are real, legitimate issues.
Yeah.
Traffic is already concerned on that strip. Going over the mountain and back is already concerned with fog. There's a lot of trucks that drive on that road, and they're routinely accidents. An additional $2,500 cars would make me a bit tentative. Georgia Gilmer watching the program. She says a hotel would be perfect. Easy access to the Brew Ridge Trail and vineyards. If you want to get Georgia's photo on screen, we're going to get some viewer and listener pictures on screen. Key members of the family. You can find where you stack up in the family on iloveseville.com/viewer rankings. This topic is piquing the interest of viewers and listeners. Of course it would with the location. Kate Shart's watching the program. We've dubbed her the Queen of Ivy. My grandparents had their 40th wedding anniversary party there. I would love to see it restored. Kevin Higgins, the mayor of Greenwood, watching the program. He says this: no way a $100,000 grant is enough for a makeover at the Inn at Afton. Maybe it pays for demolition. That hotel was incredible back in the day. It had a heated pool, a mini ski slope, and an Aberdeen barn. I did not know it had an Aberdeen barn, Kevin. I did know about the mini ski slope. And Kevin Higgins also says it's a complete dump now. I predict someone very big in the music industry lives 5 minutes away, or a local timeshare and property owner all over the country, also 5 minutes away, ends up with it. I think he's alluding to Corin Capshaw. He even says, yes, it needs to be a hotel. It has views to Roanoke and Richmond. Basic City is opening a vast music hall 2 minutes away, and given the wedding numbers in Western Albemarle, a hotel is required. He also says the hotel is 5 to 10 minutes from Crozet and tons of wineries and breweries, plus the Skyline Drive traffic. It will absolutely be a hotel. I say upscale. And he also said at one time it had a convenience store with gas pumps on it. So that's before my time, Kevin Higgins. You had something to say. Jump in here.
I don't know what I was going to say.
Forgot?
Yeah, I have no idea where.
Okay. I had no idea, Kevin, that there were gas pumps at a convenience store there, and I had no idea that there was an Aberdeen barn there at one time. Yeah. I did know about the ski slope, the heated pool, and I'm in agreement with you that $100,000 with that project may get the weeds and the grass cut.
Yeah, I don't think it would cover demolition.
I do not think it would cover demolition. If you want to demolish a house.
Yeah, I think that house that got demolished without permission
on Park Street,
right here in town, cost more than that to demolish.
Right. That's my point right there. The Park Street demolition that happened without permit. Vanessa Parkhill is giving Ginny Who some love. She's watching on I Love Seville Facebook, and she says, Ginny Who, I 100% agree with you. School systems leaving the VSBA will return to focus on academics and discipline. Okay, that's a fair point. Ginny Who made the argument that the public school systems that leave the VSBA will provide those students and their parents a better academic situation, ecosystem, than those that choose to stay within the VSBA.
Yeah.
I'll throw this bet out. Why don't you and I do a prop bet? I don't win all the prop bets. I will say by the end of summer, one other Central Virginia public school system will choose to leave the VSBA. Do you want to take that bet?
I think that too.
What window do I have to extend it to?
You on that?
Do you want? If I did shorter, no, I'm not going to go a shorter window because school board meetings are not as frequent. I am surprised that Madison's not leaving the VSBA. Let's go to Deep Throat, number one in the family. Are you getting photos on screen? Did you get Vanessa's picture on screen?
Yep.
Oh, you're a good man. Finally, we're getting back into our routine here on the I Love Seville show. Yesterday, we were off air as we were troubleshooting our technical difficulties. It's very much a Band-Aids and gauze network that's been put together. What do we got? Like some popsicle sticks and some Scotch tape and some Band-Aids that are holding things together? Yeah. This from Deep Throat. Deep Throat, are you in Montana? Let us know. He says, while teachers may lean left politically and therefore find some pronouncements of more right-wing boards distasteful, but at the same time, based on what I've heard from teachers on your show, they may well appreciate a renewed commitment to discipline and accountability for students. I agree with that.
Yeah.
He also says on the traffic study, wow, actually measuring traffic generation and mapping against capacity. Maybe Charlottesville planners could learn how to do that as well. Does it require math, arithmetic? Too bad then, I guess, for us city dwellers. Deep throat.
Ouch.
Deep throat. He's in Montana.
Somebody get some aloe for that burn.
He asks if the Swannanoa golf course is still for sale. I believe it is still for sale. Swannanoa golf course. Oh, man. I believe it's still for sale. I'll confirm for you right now. We broke that news on this talk show. Swannanoa, 263 acres. Oh, it's under contract, Deep Throat. Dude, that is some effing breaking news right there. A guy in a direct message, live on a talk show, ask a question. This should be in the Daily Progress and on the TV stations. Put a lower third on screen. I will tell you how to spell it. Tell me for a new lower third. This is breaking. This is legitimately breaking news. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Swannanoa is spelled Swannanoa golf course. Now under contract. And when you get the show on the interwebs in post-production, lead with that headline on the PTIs. That should be the lead of the PTIs. Un-effing believable, Deep Throat. John Blair, did you hear that? 236 acres under contract. The asking price was $3.5 million. I will share the link that shows it's under contract. This is effing crazy. This is literally happening in real time. Kevin Higgins says the rumor is that Old Trail bought it, but he's not 100% sure on that. I'm sharing the link of it being under contract in the comment section of my personal Facebook page. I'm sharing it in the comments section of LinkedIn. FYI. This is legitimately breaking news. I'll share it in the comments section of the Twitter stream. I'm literally taken aback by this. All right. I need to get this out there so people see this. So if you're watching on Twitter, I'm going to respond to this show by putting this out there. God, who would this? And Deep Throat, you did say this, FYI. You did say that this was a steal of a deal. I remember you saying this. 236 acres, unbelievable. Swannanoa Country Club is under contract. What do you make of that? Anything you want to add to that? I know this isn't your cup of tea here topic. Is now under contract. You want to add anything to that, J-Dubs?
No, I would need time to digest that.
Okay. He says, dang, someone's going to make a bank on this deal. Old Trail would make sense as the buyer. You can build 100 really nice houses on 2 acres each. Does bananas. I wonder if it's a developer who purchased it. I'm putting it in the comments section of I Love Seville Food. And then I'll put, you're going to see this in the traditional news cycle tomorrow. All right, let me offer some analysis here once I publish this. And then I'm putting it in the comment section of I Love Seville group. Olivia Branch says there's so much potential on that mountain. Tom Stargell giving Ginny Hu some props on the I Love Seville group. Tom Stargell says, I would second that bet by Ginny Who, and by a large number. Tom Stargell is a retired teacher and a Golden Apple Award winner. I love Seville. You're getting this comment too. Carly Wagner says, it's encouraging people are becoming aware of what the VSBA is and how it pulls the strings behind the curtains. Warren County School Board was the first jurisdiction to leave under my sister's lead. Dang. Carly Wagner, offer some more insight into the Warren County School Board leading the VSBA. So if that's number one, that means Orange County was number two and Rockingham was number three. Are we at 3 Carly public school systems that have left the Virginia School Board Association? Dude, you imagine a world, go back to what was the first headline or the second headline about public schools leaving the VSBA?
Let's see, we had...
You imagine a world in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
More VA schools flipping to conservative boards.
Carly says Warren County left about a year ago. Thank you, C. Wags. You're making the show better, C. Wags.
So Rockingham is the third?
Rockingham's because I know Orange County left. Rockingham's left. She's telling us that Warren County left about a year ago. Her sister on the school board. Imagine a Commonwealth public school system, the public school systems in the Commonwealth, divided by the VSBA and their support of this association. Mm-hmm. Those that choose to stay and those that choose to depart. That storyline will determine, I swear this will determine where people choose to live, will determine real estate values, will fluctuate real estate values, will impact migration patterns. Louisa County saw an uptick in real estate values, and Louisa County saw an uptick in affluent population because of how Louisa County Public Schools managed COVID, the pandemic, and their choice to reopen first. A lot of people said yay and became champions and cheerleaders of Louisa because of their management of COVID. You talk about a pandemic, and then you talk about something that is much longer and much more significant in longevity, or has much more significant momentum than just 3 or 4 years COVID. We're talking politics. Carly says, Mulaney Salins, which sounds like that's her, I would imagine that's your sister there, led the charge. They had a committee that studied for about a year prior to that about the pros and cons of staying or leaving. Ultimately, the board voted to leave about a year or so ago. Unbelievable. Love doing this show. I learned today, because of a comment made in a direct message capacity, that Swannanoa Golf Club, Country Club, is now under contract. 236 acres, an asking price of $3.5 million. And I also learned today that Warren County was number one in its school board choosing to leave the VSBA. I learned from you guys, I hope, way more than I think you guys learned from us. John Blair said he heard the same rumor as Kevin Higgins. John Blair's a connected man here. He said he heard the exact same rumor as Kevin Higgins. What I do not think people realize is that a lot of people in Crozet are now looking west. It would not surprise me at all if Old Trailer purchased that property. Jeez Louise. You know why people are looking west? A lot of Crozetians are looking west, right?
Not specifically.
Max capacity. Beyond max capacity,
right.
Crozet.
Yeah.
Beyond max capacity infrastructure, max capacity schools, folks are looking west.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can dig into that. Kevin Higgins, Western Albemarle and Waynesboro will be one connector very soon. Kevin Yancey says 50% of that golf course is unbuildable. I don't know about 50%, Kev. Time will tell. What's the next headline? 121. Gosh, we got a lot of information out here. Oh, you sent me the PTIs? All right, the RVA pop-up market. Folks, let us know. Olivia Branch has some commentary. Did we get Olivia's photo on screen?
Not yet.
She said so much potential on that mountain. Olivia's a connected woman. Oh my gosh, I remember talking with Deep Throat about the Swannanoa Golf Club in the $3,500,000 asking price. And I think your exact words were, "This is beyond cheap for 236 acres."
At the top of a mountain.
At the top of a
With
mountain.
a great view.
When most of it's already cleared. It's a golf course. I think his exact words were, "This was beyond cheap." And I was like, we're talking $14,830 an acre. Not even $15,000 an acre, if you think about it. All right, a couple of other headlines I want to get to. If you guys want to talk about any of these other topics, let us know. Dylan's Rule on Twitter, welcome to the broadcast. Ginny Who thanks Vanessa Parkhill, and she agrees when teachers' hands are no longer tied by DEI policies, they can do what they truly love, educate the children in their insecure settings.
Yeah.
A lot of people rallying around Ginny Who's comment at the beginning of the show. All right, a couple things I want to get out of the notebook. In Richmond, Virginia, there's an entrepreneur who is launching a permanent, basically pop-up market in the Chesterfield Mall. His name is Brian Sullivan. He's leasing, and it's set to open on August 1. There's the fixer. Hello.
Hold on.
You don't have to go to the Market Street cam for the fixer. That's why he's going for some anonymity. On August 1, in a 9,000 square foot space at the Chesterfield Mall, Brian Sullivan is launching an RVA pop-up market. The mall, this space has room for up to 30 vendors at the RVA pop-up market. A one-day slot or a one-day stall at this market, which is indoors and outside of inclement weather, away from inclement weather, runs $100 to $150 depending on the day. 2 to 4 days per month costs $75 to $125 per day, and 5 or more days cost $55 to $100 per day. So basically, this is what this guy has done. He's leased 9,000 square feet in the Chesterfield Mall, and he subdivided the 9,000 square feet into basically farmers market stalls. And he's renting or leasing the individual stalls to upcoming businesses. And he's saying you can rent by the day, you can rent in increments of 2 to 4, you can rent in increments of 5 or more, or you can have a permanent slot. For example, local companies MF Willis Hot Sauce and Little Wish Toys are maintaining permanent presences, permanent spots at this pop-up market. I think this idea is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is a brilliant idea. This idea could work in Charlottesville. A farmer's market or pop-up market that's permanent in one of the many vacant storefronts that exist all over Charlottesville and now Morrow County. You repurpose a massive storefront and you chop it up into stalls, and you allow the individual stalls and brands and businesses to become evangelists for the market in totality. If you have a stall at a pop-up market, you're going to tell all your followers on social media, come see us at this pop-up market. That's good for your business, and it's also good for the market as a whole.
Yeah.
So you would be branding the market as a whole, the pop-up market, all the stalls as a whole, and then the individual businesses would be doing the same, and the customers. This is a great concept to repurpose or revitalize one of the many vacant storefronts, many vacant shopping centers, many vacant anchor tenant slots in this area.
No doubt.
You can find this story on Richmond Biz Sense, B-I-Z, Richmond Biz Sense. The headline, pop-up market operator opening year-round, daily location at Chesterfield Mall. And this got me thinking about this. Richmond, Virginia does a really good job of having food truck courts. Certain plots of land or parking lots where a dozen or more food trucks go to on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Why do we not have that in Charlottesville outside of the food truck court on High Street? These guys rent from the Cosner Brothers family. I was told that they charge about $25 to $30 per day to park your food truck there. Why do we not have more of this? We have so many vacant parking lots and vacant shopping centers. Why don't the landlords or the property management companies choose to take the vacant parking lots or the vacant shopping centers and attract a different kind of tenant? Food trucks. Even if you get 15 food trucks at 30 a pop, you're getting $450. $450 at 30 a day is over 30 in a month is $13,500 in a month. Do a conservative model. Let's say you get 10 at 30 a day. That's 300 times 30 days in a month. You just picked up $9K.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's not landlords or property managers that can't come up with a concept, very easy one, for a food truck court that generates between $9,000 and $14,000 a month in incremental revenue, that utilizes asphalt parking lots that are empty? Your thoughts on that as I'm battling a coughing fit, Judah? Carry the show.
I think the spot at the bottom of Long Street, the bottom of Pantops, is pretty ideal. It's not that hard to turn into it from either direction. I think ideally for another spot like that to really capitalize, it would need to be in a good.
Any of the shopping centers on Route 29, Seminole Square, Albemarle Square, Fashion Square, Rio Hill, any of those shopping centers that have Fifth Street Station. Has anyone ever seen the parking lot at Fifth Street Station full ever? They built a shopping center on the Albemarle County Charlottesville line that is basically parking lot with some buildings next to it. They clearly anticipated much greater usage of Fifth Street Station. Have you been in Fifth Street Station recently?
Not in a little while.
It is always empty.
Is it? Really?
You've never been in Fifth Street Station?
I've been there lots of times, but the last few times I remember being there, it was,
past Wegmans. Beyond Wegmans.
Oh, you're
in front of Dick's.
Okay.
Public.
I don't go over there.
Okay.
Last time I went to a movie, the parking lot back by Alamo was packed. But yeah, you're probably right. Why would you have hundreds of people parking out in front of Dick's?
Well, they built it that way.
Yeah. It doesn't mean it was a good decision.
Jennifer's watching this program right now, and she loves the idea of the RVA pop-up for Charlottesville. Those are two fresh ideas for the B and C shopping centers in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. B and C shopping centers that have massive vacant parking lots. Jennifer Nunley Hucks.
Some of them are doing something similar.
Who?
But
Who?
But it would be nice.
Who's doing something similar?
You have to have seen food trucks propped up. Like
where?
There's one at the back of Best Buy. There's one right across the.
I'm talking 10 to 15
That's
food trucks.
What I was going to get to, but you insisted I tell you where I've seen food trucks.
So you're pointing out one food truck in the back of Best Buy.
My point was, they're all over the place. It would be nice if you'd let me finish. It would be nice if there was a place where they could congregate and all create, like an outdoor food court.
That's the whole idea we're talking about.
I know that.
Yeah. That's the concept. Go on social media, DM food truck owners and say, we want to build a food truck court. The first 5 that commit to this get no charge. The next 5 that commit to this get $15 a day. The next 5 get $20 a day. The 5 after that, $25 a day. And then you build the market. There's different ways people can do business. There's ways of responding to a market and selling services or goods or providing an opportunity for businesses to make money within a market that already exists. Or you can go and build the market yourself. Mm-hmm. How you go and build the market yourself is by doing tiered pricing like I just outlined. And it incentivizes people to say yes. And when the first 5 say yes, it starts creating the foundation for a market. And I'm not just talking about a market to buy and sell things. I'm talking about a market of economy. So many comments coming in today. All right, I got to get a couple of items out of the notebook before I get to comments. The folks that own Scrimp Shack. All right, I'll give you some background on this. And this is me not speaking out of turn. I have approval from ownership to talk about this. Scrimp Shack in Rio Hill Shopping Center was recently purchased. The entire company. They have one company-owned store. One company-owned Scrimp Shack. They're trying to franchise this idea. And that's the one in Rio Hill.
Yeah.
The owners of Scrimp Shack, the company, the parent company, do not want to own this company-owned store anymore. So the Rio Hill location is for sale.
Did you say that was their only store?
This is their only company-owned store.
Okay.
They're selling franchises.
Yeah.
So they have Scrimp Shacks elsewhere, but this one is owned by the parent company.
Yeah.
They want to sell this to someone who wants to get in the restaurant business, potentially carry the Scrimp Shack name on, and run this franchise. And they're offering a significant franchise fee discount.
Wow.
If you're interested, let me know. It's a great opportunity to get into restaurants, especially if you're new to restaurants. They have a playbook of how to run it. 2 other items out of the notebook, and then we'll get to your comments. Mike Barber of the Richmond Times-Dispatch yesterday reported that UVA, its athletic department, is negotiating a contract extension with Tony Bennett. If you get that lower third on screen. Chris Graham of the Augusta Free Press did a Freedom of Information Act request, and he found that UVA and Tony Bennett only had 2 years left on his contract. They are now negotiating an extension for Tony Bennett. That's very newsworthy. Second item out of the notebook, we might have seen the dumbest armed robbery ever yesterday. 2 guys in the dog days of summer pull up in a black Nissan wearing ski masks and all black clothing, toting guns. They come up to the ATM on Long Street, and a Bank of America employee is working on servicing the ATM. 2 guys wearing all black clothing and black ski masks, toting guns, sprint out of their Nissan sedan, run to the man in overalls with the name tag on his shirt that's servicing the ATM, pliers, hammer, and a wrench in hand, and they say, "Serviceman that's working on the ATM, give me all your money." And they stick them up with their guns. The serviceman looks at the guys wearing ski masks that sprinted out of a Nissan sedan holding guns in their hands and says, "Guys, I'm servicing the ATM." They insist on all his money. He gives them $106.
Is that money that he had on himself? I mean, I feel sorry for the guy.
Feel sorry for the guy. These are the dumbest armed robbers ever.
Yeah.
Who robs? For one thing, there's a limit on what money you can take out of an ATM every day. I think if we're using the ATM, the limit is like $500.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It'd be one thing to rob somebody who's going to an ATM with their debit card in hand. It's another thing altogether to rob a man that's wearing overalls that has a name tag on his shirt and has a toolbox next to his feet and is servicing the ATM.
I'd be curious to find out if ATMs still actually have like an internal container of money. Like, considering the fact that I don't know,
I would imagine ATMs still have an internal container of money. How else would they give the money to the people?
I mean,
And you see the
think,
Brinks truck going to the ATMs to take the money out.
You would think, I don't know.
This is another thing.
You'd think somebody could have developed by now an ATM that's just an electronic front that has a, you know, whatever passes the money through the bank to the little spout for the money is located inside the bank and inaccessible.
But not all ATMs are tied to banks.
Obviously, not all of them would work that way. This one was, clearly. It's at Bank of America. But you're right. There are some ATMs that wouldn't work for, like ones in gas stations.
Here's
But
a crazy
that's not
story.
what I'm talking about.
Crazy story. Let's see if he's watching the show. I think he is watching the show. Tripp, are you watching the show? Tripp Stewart, are you watching the program? So at one time, I looked at purchasing the building that is on the downtown mall. This building is the red building that has the Bank of America ATM. You know the one I'm talking about?
You mean the location again?
It is on the same strip next to Bagby's and where Blue Ridge Country Store used to be.
Yeah. It's got the little lobby.
It's got the ATM where you have to swipe your card. You get entrance into the ATM after you swipe your card at the door.
Yeah,
and then
lobby.
the top two levels are office space. So the idea was you keep the Bank of America ATM, you move our studio into either the second floor or the third floor of this red building, and you rent out the remaining portion of the building in executive office fashion, similar to what we've done here in the Magla building. I thought the price tag was too much, and one of the concerns I had was the ATM, the Bank of America lease, was extremely long. It was like a 10-year lease with options to renew for Bank of America, and their monthly rent was like $1,500 or $1,600 a month for the storefront, the premium spot of the building. So I ended up passing on the purchase. A friend of mine who I play squash with, Tripp, and his partner Aaron purchased the building, and they're running their real estate holding company out of the second floor, and I think running the third floor. When doing investigation or some due diligence on this building prior to purchasing, I realized that the Bank of America infrastructure for this ATM was so piss poor at the time that people could get in with a card that had any barcode on it. So you would have houseless individuals swiping in the middle of winter like a J.C. Penney card or a Sears card or a library card, which gave them access to the Bank of America ATM. And the houseless individuals were sleeping in this climate-controlled lobby in front of the ATM.
Yeah.
So there would be routinely, as I was looking at purchasing this building, I would show up at like 8 a.m. or 7:30 in the morning because I wanted to get a feel for the building at morning, noon, and night. So I would get to work after dropping off the kid at school, get to work there at 7:30 in the morning, and I'd be like, why are these three houseless guys sleeping in the ATM lobby? How did they get in here? Okay? One particular morning I went there. It was like 7:45 in the morning, right after school drop-off. 3 houseless guys sleeping in there.
Yeah.
Vodka, Gilbey's vodka, plastic bottles, pints of Gilbey's vodka all over. One of the guys had defecated in the corner of the lobby. You could clearly see it through the glass storefront window.
Magnificent.
And I looked in there. They saw me. One of them came out. I said, "How did you get in?" And they said, "Look at this." They pulled out a JCPenney card and literally swiped it and were able to get in. Bank of America ATM, downtown Charlottesville. Yesterday, the Bank of America ATM on Long Street robbed at gunpoint a worker with a toolbox, wrench in his hand, and a name tag on his shirt, robbed by men in ski masks in a black Nissan, dressed toe to head in all black. Maybe the dumbest armed robbery in the history of armed robberies.
No doubt.
Any other topics you want to get to? Kate says, the money is in a separate lock boxes, and we used to audit them periodically, but again, only a few people have keys, and typically it's dual controlled, and not one person could get them open. And she's right. The Bank of America ATM on the downtown mall, if you use that ATM, there's a door next to it that's locked. And when you see the person that's servicing that ATM filling it with cash or taking the cash out, they have multiple locks they have to unlock on that door, and they go in the room behind the ATM. When I was touring this space, considering purchasing it, the previous owner gave me a tour of what was behind the ATM, and the folks that serviced the ATM would enter through that door, and they would park the Brinks truck in the back and exit the back of the building. Anything you want to add? J-Dubs, Judah B. Wickower, jack of all trades, jack of all wits. He's got us back on screen, back on air. Thank you, Judah. A lot of hard work to Judah Wickower to get us back on air.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything to add?
This is the closing thoughts portion. The closing.
No, I don't have anything to add.
No closing thoughts.
We got some hot days ahead. There's a support the Salvation Army. They're opening a cooling station that will have I believe drinks and AC, and if people want to provide things like fruit to help with help replenish whatever it is that fruit replenishes. It's going to be a good thing for people that are out in the heat for too long and need some place to cool off and
nutrients,
reduce their core heat. No, what is it?
Sugar levels.
Sugar levels is part of it. I forget what it's called. I'm drawing
energy.
No.
Your appetite.
No. You can keep guessing, but I don't think you can get it. Electrolytes. That might be it.
Electrolytes.
Yeah, sugar, electrolytes. I don't know.
I like that. Good closing thoughts there from the jack of all wits. All right, that's the Wednesday edition of the I Love Seville show. It's good to be back on air, guys. If you're just tuning into the program, multiple pieces of breaking news today. Swannanoa Golf Club is under contract, and Madison County School Board is not leaving the VSBA. It's the Wednesday edition of the show. For Judah Wickower, I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you for joining us.